I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series. We'll learn how to simplify rational expressions and also write their restrictions in this particular video. Here we have three different examples. So we have a rational function, we have division and multiplication, correct? So three types of operations. Now let's see how to do them. Important part here is also to write restrictions. Now restrictions are because you cannot divide by 0. So that is key, correct? So we have to also understand this part. Okay, so let's begin. First step is normally to factor. So you have to master factoring techniques. So this is the first step. So what I will do here is I will solve A, which is x squared minus 9 over x squared minus 8x plus 15. Okay, so this is difference of square. I could write this as x plus 3 times x minus 3. To learn this factoring, I'll provide you with a link, practice, and then get back to this exercise. So that is difference of square. Now here we are looking for sum and product. 5 times 3 is 8, and we need negative, so both negative. So we could write this as x minus 5 times x minus 3. Now at this stage, we should write restrictions. Once you factor, after that you write restrictions. So second step here is to write restrictions. So restrictions are what? That denominator cannot be 0. So we get two restrictions here. One is that x is not equal to 5. The other is it is not equal to 3. So these are the two restrictions. Once you get restrictions, then the next step is to simplify. Right, so now we will simplify. So simplify means you could cross out terms which are same in numerator and denominator. Maintain restrictions. So once you do that, I could write this as x plus 3 over x minus 5, where x is not equal to, of course, 5, and don't forget 3. So that becomes the final answer. So I hope that makes sense, correct? Follow these steps and do the rest of the questions. Now let's move on and see how to divide and write restrictions for rational expressions. Here we have rational expressions. We need to write restrictions first. Let's begin. So we'll add to this list as we also solve the expression, okay? So first restriction comes from here, denominator cannot be 0. So we get x is not equal to 4, right? So x is not equal to 4. The second restriction comes from this point, x, right? This is also in denominator, and we say x is not equal to 0. We'll actually get more restrictions as we solve this particular type of question. So let's see how. So the numerator here, I could take a common denominator of x minus 4, right? So let's do it. So we could write this as x squared. We are taking common denominator x minus 4. That means this 2 is going to get multiplied by x minus 4. So plus 2 times x minus 4, correct? Now, in the denominator we have this term. So let's do the denominator part. So we have 2x minus 2 minus x divided by x, correct? Division and multiplication are reciprocal, so it's a good idea to simplify and also flip it, right? So let me rewrite here first after flipping. So we could write this as x squared plus, let's open the bracket. So we have 2x minus 8 over x minus 4, and here division I'm writing as multiplication, x over all this. So 2x minus x minus 2. So 2x minus x is x minus 2. Does make sense to you? So what we did was we kind of flipped it. Now we need to factor the numerator, right? Now you will notice at this stage we have added one restriction, x minus 2 cannot be 0. Do you see that part? So we'll add one more here and say x is not equal to 2. So that is how we get more restrictions when you divide. Does it make sense to you? So okay, now let's factor this numerator. 4 times 2 is 8. We need positive 2. So I could write this as x plus 4 times x minus 2. So that is this numerator. And we already have this x, okay, divided by x minus 4 times x minus 2, right? This is equivalent. Now at this stage, you could cancel x minus 2 and x minus 2, which are common factors. Correct? So what do you get? You get here x plus 4 divided by x minus 4, and write down restrictions that x is not equal to these three, 0, 2 and 4. Now these two are equivalent expressions. I hope that makes sense. Perfect. Now let's take up the last question. So this time we are multiplying two rational expressions. We need to factor them. Sometimes the terms are not that simple to factor. For example, 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. So we'll take our time to factor this particular term and then proceed forward. So let's do this. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. So I could write 3 as what? 2 times 1, right? And since we are looking for product of 4, product we are looking for, some product is minus 4 and sum p plus q as 3. To get positive 3, we should say 4 is the first number and the second number should be minus 1, correct? So 4 and minus 1. So we could write this as 2x squared plus 4x minus x minus 2. Now 2x is common, so we get x plus 2 here. Minus is common, x plus 2. Now x plus 2 is common, so we get 2x minus 1. So that is how we could factor this particular term. Is that clear? Others are with single coefficient, coefficient of 1. So that is easy. So we could go for them as we move. So the first one could be written as product minus 3 sum minus 2. So it is 3 times 1, 3 negative, times plus 1. And denominator is already x plus 2. Here we know it could be written as x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. And the denominator, product of minus 12, 4 and 3, right? So 4 being positive, 3 being negative. Perfect. So once you get that, all these denominators you have to look into and write restrictions. In this case, x is not equal to what? Minus 2, minus 4 and 3. These are 3 restrictions. After writing restriction, cancel the common factors. Now you can write down the answer, which is in our case x plus 1 times 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 4. Is that clear? So that is how we should be solving such equations, right? So what you notice here, that when you take expressions with division, you get more restrictions, since the divisor, both numerator and denominator, leads to restriction. Okay. In case of multiplication, restrictions are for all the factors in the denominator. So I hope with this you understand the technique. Feel free to write your comments and share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.